Welcome to Legacy Battle. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and notification button. I'm Michael Adams, creator of Legacy Battle. My co-host tonight, Penn State Collegiate All-Star Kevin Adams, the Director of Operations for the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame, Scott Crawford. We have an interview for you tonight with a former MLB multi-position player with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and then one season with the Houston Astros. Also played over in Japan for the Dragons. After playing, he became a coach and spent several years in the Mets organization as a hitting coach and an instructor. He's the last man in MLB history to play a game at catcher and throw left-handed. So we have here for you tonight, Benny Distefano. Benny, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me tonight.
Awesome. So we're going to jump right into our interview. So first question, you grew up in Brooklyn. How did you get into baseball, and were you a Yankees or a Mets fan? Because that one I got to know.
I grew up being a Met fan, and coaching for them for 11 years was incredible. Just to wear that Met uniform, and grew up being a big Mets fan, so that was special. Played Little League baseball like everyone else, and had a big passion for it. And obviously, I was fortunate to have the skills, and my parents supported me a lot. And if it wasn't for them, I would have never got to where to the major leagues.
Excellent. All right, Benny. Since I'm in Canada, I want to go back to your minor league days. You played in Vancouver in 1987 and Calgary in 1992. You spent the whole year in Vancouver in '87. I know only a bit of time in Calgary, but can you tell us about your experiences up here in Canada and Vancouver and Calgary? Whether they're good, bad, guys you played with, whatever you remember, would be cool to hear.
Cold. Stadium was not Bailey Stadium.
Yep.
You remember that stadium?
Yep.
It was an old stadium. It was like 430 feet to center field, and it was it was cold, and it was just interesting. Vancouver's a great city, and we lived downtown, and it just, when you went to the ballpark, it always seemed like there was always an overcast over it, and I don't know why. It just seemed like that. But it was beautiful, beautiful city. I had started off real slow, had a solid year, and ended up hitting like 15 to 16 home runs and 70, 80 RBIs, and start off real slow and finish up strong. Calgary, I was in the big leagues with the Astros in '92. A month left to the season. The Astro outrighted me back to AAA. I could have signed with the organization, but I decided to go a different route. And I was with Seattle for about a month in the organization.
So you played for Chuck Tanner and Jim Leyland. How did their managing styles differ? And your thoughts on Jim Leyland being named to the Baseball Hall of Fame class of 2024?
Totally two different managing styles. Chuck was a very optimistic person, very upbeat, more of a veterans manager. And it was, great experience for me playing for him. Obviously, he was a great manager. But then playing for Jim Leyland 3 years, of all the managers I've ever had, he's definitely the best manager, and he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, no doubt about that. He's got a very, very, stern look about him, but he's a good guy. He's a good teammate, and again, he belongs in the Hall of Fame. And he's a big practical joker, but he's got that poker face, so you don't know when he's joking or not. But as a manager, he's very fair. He tells you as much as you possibly can, and when you're on that roster, the 25-man roster, your role. And so it was nothing hidden, and he shot straight with you, and that's all you can ask from a manager.
I want to take you back to your time with the Pittsburgh Pirates. When you were with the Pirates, you played with some great young talent: Barry Bonds, Bobby Bonilla. Van Slyke was another great player on that team. What was it like seeing Bonds and Bonilla, though, early in their career at that time?
Well, Bonilla is from the Bronx, obviously, if you followed his career. We came up to the minor leagues, and together. We played a little bit together, but he was a level below me. And then what happened was he got hurt, and he broke a leg in spring training. Him and Bip Roberts, they collided on a fly ball. And what happened was, it was his fourth season, and it was the Pirates had to protect him. And they left him on a AAA roster because he missed most of the season. But he was in Puerto Rico that winter, and he had a good winter ball. So the White Sox took him, and he was in the White Sox for the whole year. And then what happened was Sid Thrift traded back for him for Jose De Leon. And as far as Bonds, I was, with Bonds for 3 years in the big leagues, and we played minor league ball together before he got called up. And we played in Venezuela together. So, incredible talent. I mean, just nothing to say about him except he was a great baseball player.
Yeah, for sure. Question about, you might see a theme in my questions here, Benny, but in 1984, you were with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and your right fielder was a guy from Ottawa, Ontario, and named Doug Frobel. He played a few years in the big leagues there. What do you remember about him? He's the everyday starting right fielder that year.
Frobel was a real good guy, tall, thin guy, tremendous power, could run, had a strong arm. And, it just didn't work out for him to have a longer career, but he definitely had the talent to do it. When you get to that level, some things got to fall your way as well. You got to get a break. And then when you get that break, you got to take advantage of it right away. And, when you're a Bond, that high draft pick, you're going to get opportunities to develop. But the average player don't have that opportunity most times to develop at the major league level, because the manager's there. He's got to win, and his job's on the line every day. He was, Frobel, like I said, was a good guy, and had a lot of talent, and played 2 years in the major leagues. I mean, that's pretty solid.
Sure.
I want to take you to April 28th, 1992. You're facing a great pitcher in David Cohn. I think he actually won the World Series that year, if I'm not mistaken. But it's eighth inning. You come in as a pinch hitter. The no-hitter's on the line. You get an infield hit to break up that no-hitter game for him. What was going through your mind stepping up to the plate? Did people in the dugout, did everyone realize the situation? How did you feel in that moment?
I remember, there's certain things about your career and in life, you have a Kodak moment, and that was definitely one of them. And my friends never let me down about that one, because what happened was I got called up from the Astros 2 days earlier, and we were in Atlanta, and then the next day we go to New York. And so I got to see, my family's at the game, mother, fathers, sisters, and all my friends I grew up with. And so I'm not starting. And what happened was I go to pinch hit, and I wasn't thinking about a no-hitter or anything like that. So I'm facing Coney, and like you said, he's an incredible pitcher. I mean, he 20 years in big leagues, whatever it was, and a good guy. And so we knew each other. We played against each other. And so I step up to the box, and he threw me, a couple of split finger balls, split finger fastballs. And because I was more of a fastball hitter, dead red. And so I got 2-0. And, I'm thinking, okay, come on, Coney, throw this fastball right down the middle. I'm going to jump on it. I'm going to smoke a double to right center. If I get up, it's out of the ballpark. So I'm swinging out of my ass. And, everyone's there in New York. So what does he do? He throws me a 2-0 split. And I swung out of my ass, and I hit it off the end of the bat like a cue ball. You're playing pool. And it went about 30 feet, right down the third base line. They couldn't do nothing with it. And I believe my friends buried me over it. And Johnny Franco went with the Mets at the time. We went to high school, Sandlot all together. He ripped me a new one. So we had a lot of fun over it. And, it was a special moment breaking up no-hitter, and especially with a little cue ball down the, third base line.
So during your MLB tenure, you played several positions, the outfield spots, first base, catcher for 6 innings in 3 games. To what do you attribute the versatility that you had, and what position did you actually prefer to play?
I started as a first baseman. First base and right field, I probably split it most of my career. I played 12 years, half at first, half in the outfield. So, both of those positions. As far as left-handed catching, it is pretty cool to be the last one. And what happened was in 1988, we were in Philadelphia, and Jim Leland comes up to me. He says, "We want to keep in the big leagues. We want you bad there, but we don't know what we're going to do, because we got to keep Tom Prince in the big leagues as a third string catcher, or we like to keep you." And our middle infielder was Rafael Belliard, and that's who you normally third string catchers. And Rafael, we call him Pac-Man. And he was 5'6", 5'7", and he threw over the top, and he wasn't the type to put back there. And so what happened when we were in the airport that day, and Neil Heaton, a left-handed pitcher, and Ray Miller, the pitching coach, we watched the ball game on TV before our flight, and he says, "I wonder why there's no left-handed catches." And so I don't know. And he says, it should be. So I said, "You think I can do it?" And he says, "I don't see why not." So next day, I go to Busch Stadium, and first thing I do is I beeline to Jim Leland's office. "Hey, Skip, can I want to be the emergency catcher next year. Can I do it?" He turned around and said, "I don't see why not." We had Mike Squires in the 70s when I was there. So what happened was they sent me the instruction league. Let me backtrack a little bit. That day, I had my first baseman's mitt. And so I went down the bullpen and caught Doug Drabeck, my first baseman's mitt. Then I called up Rawlings. They had a glove for me in a couple of days. And they sent me an instruction league to learn how to catch for a month. That was the sole purpose. When I was there, I went to big league camp. Then I showed I had the athletic ability to do it. I did have a strong arm. And, I loved it. It was a lot of fun. And I made the club. And when Skip put me in those, Leland put me in those games, they were all legit ball games. The first game I caught in, it was a 3-1 ball game. So, it wasn't taken as a gimmick or anything like that. This was taken as a, serious thing to use my bat off the bench.
So what was I guess, what was the scariest, not scariest, but a pitcher that you faced that kind of gave you a little bit of a worry? What was the hardest, most difficult pitcher that you faced?
The guy that threw the hardest?
Yeah.
Probably all of them. No, I'm joking.
Not Tim Wakefield, that's for sure.
You ain't lying. That knuckleball. When you got up there against, I just remember the Cincinnati Reds. They had, Norm Charlton. He was nasty. He threw, 98, 99. And then they had Rob Dibble. But with Dibble, he's just a big guy. Had that long wind-up and arm, and he slung the ball. And, he was about 100 miles per hour. But with him, you didn't know where it was going to go. So you never got comfortable in the box with him. And I would say that would be the hardest thrower that I've ever faced, and I'm comfortable in the box.
All right, Benny. Question about your memorabilia or stuff you kept from your games. I obviously run the baseball museum up here in Canada, and I mean, from your left-handed catcher's glove. Did you collect memorabilia? Did you keep memorabilia from your own? Yep.
That glove.
Oh, he's got the glove. He's going to show us.
He's got the glove. There you go.
There she is.
Oh, put her on.
There it is.
I've never even seen a left-handed catcher's mitt. That's awesome.
Oh, that's what I was looking for. I'm always interested to see what players keep, what they cherish. Keep your jerseys, a left-handed catcher's glove. A guy in the clubhouse you played with, you might, did you go get autographed ball or jersey or bat from someone, or did you keep stuff? In other words, what do you have?
I did. I could have kept a lot more stuff, but I didn't. I only accumulated odds and ends because I didn't want to bother players. I wish I would have done a lot more, but I accumulated some balls of people I really, really, really respected, and they were great ball players, like Ozzie Smith, players like that. People I really respected a lot, and did a lot for the game, and super players.
That glove's a keeper. That's pretty cool.
Yes, and Willie Stargell gave me a glove. Hey, Brenda, I found it. Go in the room right there. You'll see my pirate hat. I'm going through stuff right now, and what am I going to get rid of and not? Right there. And we would double A. You like this one? I gave it to my son already. Willie Stargell gave me the Stargell stars. Remember those?
Oh, yes.
So it's pretty cool. I mean, that's special because Willie gave them to me. He hand-delivered them. So we're in Lynn, Massachusetts, 1983. Pops retired in 1992. And so he's a consultant, evaluator. And he comes to Lynn, Massachusetts. And I was a big prospect at the time. And Pops, I knew for a couple of years. and he sort of took me into his wing. And so what happened was he comes in. I would have it here, but I gave it to my son a couple of weeks ago to his house. He comes in with a brand new first baseman's mitt, and it was legal size, a little big, but it was black, had the gold signature in there. And I asked Willie, don't ask me where I got the nerve. I asked Willie, can I have your first baseman's mitt? That's Willie Stargell. And he said, yes, it's going to cost me. And I said, what's it going to cost me? A case of St. Pauli Beer's beer. So it cost me a case of beer.
That's a good deal. That's a good deal.
You should have told him to bring you a case of Iron City. That would have evened it out.
You ain't lying. But the most special thing I have, memorabilia, was something that no one really knows about. And we were in spring training, my last major league camp. We were Texas Rangers, and Donald Fear and Mark Belanger, all the the executives go around to each spring training facility, let them know what's going on in the bargaining agreements or the license and money, whatever they're talking about. And what happened was I raised my hand to Donald Fear, and I said, Donald, I've been fortunate. I was in Japan. I got 4 or 5 years in big leagues. I'm very fortunate, but I see a lot of peers of mine who've been up and down. They don't have much money. And is there any sort of a pension plan for that? Because I remember when I was younger, they talked about it. And his quote to me was, this is no charity event. And they had to hold me back. I went after him. And because the reason is that year, the baseball card money was really, really coming to life. And the individual share for 1992, each player received $69,000 of licensing money. So I went after him. Then I thought about it. I said, I want to start a minor league pension. So on, 8x10, I asked Kevin Kennedy if I could have a closed door meeting, and 100% of the players said yes. So in my possession, I have 8x11 signs supporting some sort of minor league pension from half the major leagues players, Nolan Ryan, Andre Dawson, Kirby Puckett. And I would think there's some value to that, but I don't know what type of value. And the reason I only got half is Mark Belanger and Donald Fear shut it down. So I was able to get the other half by, say, Terry Steinbach. He was a player rep. Oakland, and he signed.
Catcher.
I support this. So what I want to do is bring it up to Donald Fear, and that something could be done to help the average player, that didn't have the money that these superstars have. And it started to get some legs, and then people ask about it during the winter meetings, and Donald Fear just said it can't be done, which is not true, because obviously you see the money out there and what's going on with the pensions, and obviously a minor league union now. So, but that's the most important thing I have. And I would like to know what it's worth, because it's got to be worth something to have a Nolan Ryan signature on supporting a minor league pension plan. So that's the most important thing for me.
So
Great.
we'll get you out of here with this. I want to add a question that I didn't have. So we've all seen the movie Mr. Baseball with Tom Selleck, came out in '92. You played over there in Japan. How accurate is that movie as far as how the Japanese players respect the game and things like that? Was it that serious when you played over there?
I'm surprised I never saw the movie being filmed, because that movie came out, and I was there in 90, and that movie came out in 91. So I want to know where they filmed it.
Yeah.
Same stadium, the same uniforms. Over there, they take it very, very serious. I mean, it's just, if a guy, I've seen it, if a guy pulls a muscle in his calf, the coaches go in and step on it, and you see the guy just rolling over in pain. But it's a different culture. I tell you what, it was a great experience. The people are super. It was really, really, awesome. But as far as the movie was pretty accurate, except the part where he's going to go out with the manager's daughter. That, you never, over there, the wives don't go to ball games. That's his workplace. So you never saw their family or anything like that. That's like you're going to work 9 to 5, family don't go to work with you. So, that's how it's a little different. But the culture, what a great experience. I wish I could do it again.
Well, thank you, Benny, so much for joining us tonight. We appreciate your time.
You got it. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Great.
A reminder, everybody, hit that like, subscribe, notification button. Thank you for watching. We'll see you all next time. Have a great night.